So I wanted to do a video that was very unique, and you won't see anything else like this year in particular. I'm gonna do my top whiskey and other spirits that I tasted. It's different. It's not top whiskeys of 2024, it's the top whiskeys I tasted 2024. And as per usual, I'm trying to be the least influential influencer in the whiskey community. So here we go. So I kind of think where I should start, it would just be honorable mentions. Now this is going to be things that I bought, this will be things I have tasted at bars. Unfortunately only trying once for me in one setting. It may not be enough to really determine what I think. Alright, so we can begin, but I'm actually sipping on something for once in the video, and it's just regular old Granddad Bottled & Bond. Felt like something simple, so cheers. This is not really going to be in any order, especially for honorable mention, but I'm just going to go ahead right into it. So, I was able to try Coy Hill this year, which is my unicorn. That for sure was my unicorn. It was very, very good. Unfortunately, I think with a lot of hyped bottles with me, it didn't meet the extreme expectations. Yeah, I don't know, just worth it, very good. The finish was very, very good. This was the 129 proof this year batch version. Kind of reminded me a lot of JD12 actually. So yeah, like JD12 but just at a higher proof. So Coy Hill was great. I'm very happy I was able to try it, very lucky. Another one, I actually did a video on this, Balcones Cast Strength Single Malt. Absolutely love it. Another one that I actually finally got to trying this year was a Bunnahabhain 12. This was sort of a year for Scotch for me. I kept on trying different Scotches, and unfortunately I was pretty disappointed in a lot. Especially sherry bombs, man, I guess it took me a little bit to figure out it's actually something with the super dry sherry on some of them I just don't like. However, the Bunnahabhain 12, I think for sure is an honorable mention for something I tasted. It's very nice and sweet, it's well balanced, and I think it kind of kicks the ass of a lot of the Scotches that I tried and bought this year. Let's see, another bucket list whiskey I was able to try this year. This was on my birthday, so this was great. I was at a liquor bar in Louisville, still visiting back home, and I was buying Sagamore Double Oak, but before I bought it, I wanted just to see if they had on the big bar there. I walked up, and I was like, oh, hold on. It was top, like way, way top shelf. Like they didn't even get a ladder to get there. I was like, hold on a second. Is that Octomore? What's your price? And it was $16.99 for a pour. It was Octomore 14.1. Man, is that like the easiest to drink whiskey I think I've ever had. Another one, Larceny C924, I think is fantastic. It's a bit heavier on that dusty kind of peanut note. It's less of the sweet peanut butter and a bit more in that woodiness. I like it a lot. I don't think it's not my favorite batch. I still actually have A123 as my favorite batch. Alright, another one, Nashville Barrel Company Cast Strength. To me it tastes like Barton and Heaven Hill mixed together, and normally I don't like Barton. I don't really like that super sweet cherry up front. I like this quite a bit. A Frey Ranch Barrel Proof. I was able to get one of those this year. Oh my god, it is just the juiciest apple. It is so good, so unique. Would highly recommend this. Another one, this is good because this is a cheap one. I tried Paddy's Irish. Yes, a $20 bottle. I gotta be honest, like Jameson Black Barrel is really, really good, but for half the price, Paddy's Irish kind of wins. We're not looking for complexity if we're going for a very simple, cheap Irish whiskey. Both are fantastic, but like I said, half price, I think the Paddy's is winning for me there. One that I wouldn't even care if it was bad. No matter what, it didn't matter to me. I was gonna buy it. New Riff 8 Year. I absolutely adore New Riff. I don't live super far from them. And day of when they released it, yes, I went after work and I was picking out a bottle. It's very, very fruit forward, and it's just as it's opened up in the bottle, it's getting sweeter and more fruit forward. It's absolutely fantastic. There was a little bit of dry oak at first, but it's kind of subsided. Alright, now I think I'm gonna hit on a few weirder things, but first, let's start with just Plantation. This is a store pick. It's a Plantation Barbados rum. You know what? It wasn't the most complex. It's very sweet. It is just a damn good tasting rum, and I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. Very nice. Another one, another store pick. From Fort Hamilton. It's actually a rye whiskey from New York, and it was only 5 years old. And my brother and I were lucky and got it on sale for 20 bucks. And wow, is it good. I wish I bought a bottle. Very black peppery spice and nice and just sweet and simple up front. I guess that's my only knock on it. It's simple, but you want to talk about just like a nice, great drinking rye. Also from New York, it is a distillery. I believe they're doing all their own things, and pretty impressive, so it was good. Alright, and then the final honorable mention, kind of a weird one. Definitely not the typical thing that I like at all. Cincinnati Distilling Blueberry Donut Flavored Whiskey. Now normally, I don't like anything flavored, and I don't actually really like blueberry artificial flavoring at all. But, wow, it was not overly sweet. It was just good and tasted like a blueberry donut, and it was nice. Alright, now I'm finally gonna actually get into the real list here. And because I am unable to effectively really choose, I had to put things into tiers. The tiers are pretty much equal. Each tier is just gonna be a step above. Alright, I've been talking about it in multiple videos. Yes, Southern Collective Tequila. I won't shut up about it. I don't like tequila. This is aged in bourbon barrels. It's still strength, not cast strength. So it's 112.5. No additives. My friend, who's also into whiskey, doesn't like tequila. We both like that. I don't know what to say. Fantastic. Very good. Alright, next one. Ben Holiday Soft Red Wheat. This is barrel proof. The reason this actually kind of beat out a few other whiskeys, this is fruity like the New Riff, but also kind of oaky like Larceny, and I think that's that wheat coming through. Kind of the best of both worlds, and that was sort of why I think it beats them out. Alright, so for the next one, man, talk about a budget, just banger, absolutely incredible tasting. I mean, you can really taste the combination of the rye, and I believe it's kind of a combo of rye and their wheated mash bill. So if you like that, I think you're gonna like this, because this is unbelievable for the price. It's only like 50 bucks. And if you like Green River, well, Green River Full Proof's fantastic too. In fact, this is so good, I don't even know if I'm gonna buy the lower Green River products now, because I can just get this for 15 more bucks. Okay, I know I talked about buying Sagamore Double Oaked. I am not that much of a rye person, but this is all the fruitiness up front, and because double oaked, it finishes so nice and sweet. Alright, so that was tier 4, now tier 3, so these are ones that I just liked a little bit more. Like I said, it's because I can't commit. So next up, James E. Pepper Decanter. I got this at the beginning of the year. You know, at first this didn't really blow me away. I think I was kind of confused as to what I was tasting. I had to look it up. It's really like this white grape with some citrus, and it's got a little bit of graininess, but it's like a cinnamon woody grain. This has certainly convinced me to look at the rest of what James E. Pepper Distillery, I believe the James E. Pepper Distillery is doing, and I kind of want to go to Lexington now to try them, and on the way I want to try a few other ones like Glens Creek Distilling. Alright, so here's another guy. Something that I actually am not able to get in my area. It was while I was in New York. I had to get this. Aaron 10, one that I've kind of been on the outlook for a long time. Wow, is it just sweet melon? Just a wonderful, wonderful pour. Scotch has been kind of weird. I know I said this is like this year of me trying Scotch, and unfortunately I was just disappointed in a lot of them. But then I run into something like this, which is cheaper, and this just it's just not even a competition. It's fantastic, and this is just so good. Those were tier 4, and then 3. I think this tier 2 is actually a really big step up. This is where it's gonna get pretty serious. After the video, I went ahead and retried the Detling cast strength. I actually compared it to OCD5, and both are very good. OCD5 for sure is still an honorable mention to me, but the Detling cast strength is probably in between tier 3 and tier 2. I'm still not 100% sure because I've only really tried it twice, but it is absolutely fantastic. Coffee and espresso nuts with baking spices. It is chocolatey, but the OCD5 is much more on the sweet or chocolate. OCD5 is a bit fruitier as well because I believe it's pot stilled. So yeah, very good. Highly recommend. Definitely worth the money. Give it a try. Just made a video on it. I think some people are gonna say it's just overpriced MGP. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. I think it's that good. Something that someone suggested to me on a review that I posted, they suggested copper and cask is actually a better value. Kind of interesting. I've actually never really ever heard really anything about copper and cask, so maybe I'll give it a try. But where I'm sitting, you know what? Give this a try. You're not gonna convince me that it's bad. Now another store pick here. Now this is Mossburn, which is a independent bottler in the US, I think. Anyway, it's an independent bottler, but this is specifically from the Ben Nevis Distillery in Scotland. Now this was a fun one because this is a store pick, so every time I went, I would go ahead and get a pour because I really liked it. But I wasn't pulling the trigger on it because originally it was $100, and I thought, okay, it's really good, but 100 is a bit pricey. And you know what? This area and down to Louisville, they don't like Scotch. I know they don't like Scotch. So I bet the price is gonna come down and I'll be able to get this cheap. Well, a few months ago they dropped down to 90, and I said, all right, I'll wait. I think I can do it. I think I can wait. And while that was happening, I was kind of regretting it because there was all this other Scotch I was buying and trying, and I realized, you know, for like even I got this at 100. This is kind of going to be better than most things that I've actually bought this year. But you know what? I stuck with it. They dropped down to 80 not that long ago. I picked this up. Finally picked this up. And it is as good as I remember. It's actually got a little bit more grape intensity to it, but it is just straight milk chocolate. Yeah, it is very enjoyable. I absolutely love it. All right. Got a unicorn. This was actually the day that I was celebrating my birthday with some friends. You know, this is another one that's weird. I tried it and wasn't actually that impressed with it. And I tried it again recently. I realized what was going on, but I've only been pouring tiny little pours, not letting it sit. And so I think it wasn't opening up for me. And I was like, it's fine, but it's not that great. Well, earlier this week, I finally poured more of a real pour, and oh my god, you just let this thing sit. Now I know what everyone's talking about. Now I agree. This is for sure one of the best pours of the year. The finish is unbelievable, like Coy Hill. This thing just evolves so much over time. I mean, it's like this really minty raspberry at first, with some nice oak. Then it turns into sweeter banana, and wow, is it something. Now that's gonna be top of tier 2, and I absolutely love that. But I got two more that I do think eclipse this. And it's another one because I'm a fanboy and I fall for the marketing. But yes, Southern Collective Port. The price is certainly relevant because it was $120, but trying it a few more times, wow, yeah, I think it got me. I do think this is for sure one of the best whiskeys I have on my shelf. And even though this is a whiskey channel and I have already featured only one non-whiskey so far, I know I've talked about a lot of whiskey, but you know what my actual best thing I tasted this year? I talked about Plantation Barbados rum. Alright, well, this is Plantation Guyana rum. Aged 13 years in a bourbon cask, 1 year in a Ferrand cask, which is a cognac cask, I believe, and then finished another 7 months in Teeling single malt Irish whiskey. You know what? I don't think I really have anything to say other than this is one of the most complex, sweet, slightly tropical fruit, but really it's just like that such heavy, dark molasses. Because it's a store pick, I went ahead, I bought a backup after this. And not only was it something that I liked so much that I got a backup, I actually gave it to a friend. He thought it was so good, he went to the store and got his own bottle. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit longer than I probably wanted. And I'm trying a few things out with the camera. I have no idea what's going to work anymore. And so we'll just see how it goes. Yeah, I think it was a great year, 2024, for just trying things. I definitely spent too much money on whiskey. Yeah, isn't that just every year though? I had a great time trying so many things this year. It's a good time to be in whiskey. I think everyone is so caught up in bourbon hunting and they're just focusing on the wrong stuff. They're focusing on just getting whatever Buffalo Trace, whatever hype train bottle. Don't get too caught up in the whiskey hunting and the woes of it. Just and like here on this list, I have multiple things that aren't whiskey, so there's a lot out there to try, and I think everyone should open their horizons a bit more. But now it's time to suggest an artist. So I've been doing Def Havana's first album. The early stuff was much more kind of that classic post-hardcore. They definitely changed up their sound a little bit as they got older, and they were very open about that, which is kind of cool. Not their newer stuff, it's not as much for me, but their first album was fantastic, so go ahead and give Def Havana a listen. Alright. Don't subscribe.